Hi there, O-Doers! It's been an awesome year here at Everwood Ventures. As we are starting a new fiscal year, we need to close the past one first. So, to analyze our company's financial situation, we need to close all of our financial statements first. Closing the financial statement. In order to close them, we should follow some best practices. Let me explain to you how it works. So first of all, we should make sure that invoices, bills, expenses should be recorded and validated in time due. Secondly, make sure to reconcile everything that is not reconciled yet. After those clearing and suspense accounts, you need to make sure that there is nothing open on them anymore, and then verify the balance sheet items and entries for the depreciation journal entries. And also, make sure your different revenues are correctly recorded as well. And finally, double check all accrued revenues and expenses as well, because once we close the year, it's closed of course. So once all of that is done, we have one final step. Basically, the only manual step that you have to do in Odoo. We need to allocate the unallocated current year earnings so that they are basically reported as zero in the balance sheet and basically report it to the next year. So let's dive into our database and see how we can do this. So first things first, let's start with the settings. When we open the general settings, let's have a look at one for accounting and look for our year-end closing. Two options over here. The first one is the fiscal year. Here, you can define the last day of your fiscal year. Most of the time, it will be the 31st of December. But of course, it's not an issue if the closing of your fiscal year is another date. Just change it over here and all your financial reports will immediately be updated. What if I started my business at the middle of the year? Can I change that? To answer the question, actually that's why we have the fiscal year. If your first year or later you have a shorter year than 12 months or a longer one, you can define it manually. Just click on the fiscal years button and create a new one. Let's imagine our first year, 2024. Started in the middle of the year, so we're gonna define here the starting date is the 1st of July, for example, and it still ends on the 31st of December. So just select the 31st of December over here. Now, when saving it, our fiscal year 2024 has been created, and all the later ones will just remain 12 months. So basically, that's the only setup to do. So let's go back to our dashboard, jump into accounting, and have a look at this menu over here, the accounting menu. In the accounting menu, we have our lock dates. Everything starts from here. Basically, we are working differently than maybe some other accounting software. We don't work with periods. We work with the closing date way more easily because by filling in the date, all accounting entries before the date are closed. If you want to open it, you can just remove the date, of course, and it's open again. So we have three different dates. The first one is the tax return lock date. We're not going to dive into detail about this one, but basically, this one is only taking into consideration for tax. So if you don't want to close the tax report, don't fill in this one. If you want to close the general here, well, you have two different dates over here. Basically, it's exactly the same. The only thing changes is based upon the access right. If you're working with, let's say, a chief financial officer and some other financial officers that make some inputs, well, you can basically close it for all the users that are not the accountant over here. And if you want to close it for everybody, including the accountant, you can fill in this one. Can anyone in the company just change the setting? To answer the question, so basically, not only the date is based upon the access, Write also the menu. This small menu with the lock dates is only available if you're an accountant. So let's say a bookkeeper that can only create invoices will not see that point. So basically, it's only the chief accountant that will be able to close the years. Okay, now that we've filled in all the different adherents, let's have a look at our reporting and open the balance sheet. For example, if we open the balance sheet over here for the year 2023 and we go down into the current year earnings, we can see that for this year, we have a current year unallocated earnings of 5,616,356 pesos. So first of all, I can dive into there and jump into my profit and loss to see the details of it. Now I want to close the year making sure that it is reported to the next year. The only thing I have to do is create the correct accounting entry. So let's dive into our journal entries. I already prepared it over here. So I'm gonna filter on the unposted ones in order to find the entry that I created before, which I named closing entry of 2023. And you can see that I use the correct accounts here. Based upon your localization, the accounts will be different, but I allocated the result here of 5,616,356 pesos. I'm just going to post this entry at the year and date 31st of December. And now, if we go back to our balance sheet, we can see that the current year earnings are zero because the entry has been posted and it's completely allocated to the next year. We can see the detail completely over here. So that's it for closing the year. It's very easy in Odoo. So I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.